was raised in a really conservative is the right word, there isn't another word for it. I grew up with two brothers who kidded with me the whole time. I had always had a bent towards the sciences and the math, but in India there is a career called home science. So when I would tell my brothers, I want to major in science, they're like, yeah, you're going to major in home science. I grew up with that, saying, you know what, deep down somewhere thinking, someday I'm going to do something that my brothers are not going to do. And here I am. But we are a bunch of engineers in the house. So all three of us are engineers. I'm the only one on electrical. They are mechanical and metallurgy. But I met my husband when I was in engineering college. I think that's the transformation point for in my life. I didn't learn much in my bachelor's at all. We had a blast of a time. I came to Urbana-Champaign because he was coming to Urbana-Champaign. We did our masters together. And the first day I went into class, I came from India where we were doing punch cards into our computers, right? I come over here, I'm the TA of the class. There's a light pen and the students are going this. I'm like, geez, I'm supposed to teach this lab? How? I didn't know. But you know what? It comes so fast. It really comes fast. So what I've realized my whole life is, doesn't matter whether it's something daunting, whether you haven't done it before, you put your heart and mind to it, it cannot escape you. You're just going to get it. You just have to be at it though. You have to be stubborn. You just have to go for it. I have two teenage kids. I think they are the pleasure of my life. I really live for them. They're a pleasure to have. One is a boy. He's in high school. He's traveling more than me now. He's in debate tournaments all over the country. Very similar choices I have made. I have full help at home. I have a nanny who chauffeurs the kids around, gets dinner ready. I have a cleaning service. Life doesn't go on. You got to pick your priorities and you got to spend your time on what is important for you. There is one life to live, and you got to live it for yourself as much as for your family, right? So you make those choices and move on. I have supported my husband through two startups. So I stayed on. I was at Intel. I was at Sun, but I supported him through two of them. Grudging, sometimes not happy. He's like, you know what? I'm going to have this party at home. Sequoia guys are coming. These guys are coming. Set everything up at home. I'm like, okay, man. Drumming up. But that networking helps me so much today that I am fortunate I got to do that. And the other thing is I learned through him. It's like, I have a board meeting coming up. Don't disturb me. Okay, 2 in the morning, he's still working on some slide. What is it? But looking at it, learning vicariously everything that was going on, that's what gives me the strength to kind of manage my own company today. It's
You're sounding like Hillary Clinton.
There you go. But it was good. It was great to do that. So I've kind of covered this, my technical journey. I went to Baroda in India, and not known to be the best technical college, but MS University, it's got a long name, but it has an acronym. It's called Marriage Settlement University. That's what I wanted, right? Then I went to University of Illinois. I was a TA first, then I became an RA. I figured a TA is too much work. RAs don't have to do that much. They get paid more. Became an RA at the Supercomputer Center there, which was a brilliant experience for me. Almost ended up doing a PhD, but then, my husband said, you can stay here, do your PhD, but I'm heading out. And I was like, no, hon. I worked at Intel for the first 4 years. It was brilliant. It's a brutal learning experience, but what an amazing teaching environment. And I think that is what I got out of Intel, is the discipline, how to work frugally, how to pretend that you're in the military even though you're in technology. That's what Intel teaches you. It was really good. And after that, I came to Sun. I had my first baby between Intel and Sun. Then I had my second kid while I was at Sun. And then my husband started doing his startups, and I was busy raising the kids and working at Sun. I started as an individual contributor. By the time I left, I was managing about 500 people, and across multiple coasts. After that, they canceled the project that I was working on. No one at Sun had the decency to pick up the phone and tell me, your project's been canceled. I was in Japan on vacation. I get a call from TI saying, Sundari, they're asking me to stop the wafer production. I said, why? This is because they're canceling your project. I was like, thank you. That's when I resigned from Sun. I said, I'm not going back there again. And I took a break. I felt like I needed a break. I took a break. I traveled a lot during that time with my kids and husband. My husband was also at a time where he could take time off. So we took the kids all over the world. We did a lot of very exciting traveling. I became a management consultant. I volunteered my time. I was working with some VC firms, more networking. I helped set up a few India centers for some hardware companies. So I got to spend 3 months in India working with the Indian system. How do people work in India? What happens? Is it really a low-cost center? What do you get? What do you give up? So picked up all those during that time. After that, I don't know what hit me, but I started this company, and it's called Prism Circuits. It's a very niche company. It's a bootstrapped venture, which means I did not raise any money. Now, why didn't I raise any money? Because I was sitting on the other side with VCs for a few months, and it's interesting. When you go to pitch to them, they say we are venture capitalists. When you're one with them, they tell you we are vulture capitalists.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I mean, to me, just observing them on the other side gave me a feel for what it is that they give. They give a lot. I don't mean to take away from that. They give you connections. They open up doors for you. They won't give you the idea. The idea has to be yours, but they give you a lot that you can, fall back on. They give you a wealth of experience that they share with you. But for everything that they give you, they take away a lot more. Right? And so I got to that choice saying, why did I start Prism? I didn't really have to work. I could have said, enough, maybe I'll just focus on my children, but I drove them nuts. They're like, Mom, can you go back to work? It just became too much. It's like, they would come home and they didn't know whether they're going to get Indian food, Chinese food, American food, because I was getting creative in the kitchen.
Oh,
She did the same thing.
I had gourmet meal every night. I cooked every one of them.
Same.
I was in the store at least twice a day.
And in Target also.
Target too.
Then you don't know what to do with that energy, right? So you're doing all these crazy things, and they're like, hey, get out, get out. Don't get busy. So I was like, okay, all right, maybe we'll do that. And so that's how I started Prism. Bootstrap, for whoever wants to know more about these, I'd be very happy to spend time talking about the advantages of Bootstrap and the pain of a bootstrap company. You don't have money. You never have money. And how it's growing. But it is remarkable because the hardware field requires a lot of investment. I cannot rely on anyone else's servers. I have to buy everything. The EDA, the software that is required to do my kind of design itself runs into $1 million+, right? And yes, my husband's support has been just absolutely tremendous. I watch him now take the second seat, and I'm in the driver's seat for running Prism, and it's just amazing. I think that is very important to have, and I'm fortunate that I have it.
He's a Bill Clinton.
He's yes, there you go. I hope not.
Not in the bad way.
So we have 25 people now, all in the Bay Area. We're looking to expand. I have customers worldwide, and we're so far the makings of a very good company. But you know what? I think I can't read the future. I don't know what's going to happen.